Peace is present right here, everywhere, all about us. But are we aware of it? Can we intentionally tap into it? Can we be it in the midst of whatever shows up in our world? He goes on and he says, we have difficulty remembering that we are alive in the present moment, the only moment that there is to be alive. Every breath we take, every step we make can be filled with peace, joy, and serenity. We need only to be awake and alive in the present moment. We have an extraordinary music team. You know, I was sitting in my office this morning as they were getting ready, and I was like, man, we are going to be blessed today. Thank you all so much. I invite you to take a breath with me. To just acknowledge what may be alive in you today. Allowing yourself to be with whatever feelings are present, whatever is touching your life. I've had a number of conversations this week with people in this congregation as they have processed where we are. It's been a challenging time for our country, and this election process has been wrought with difficult emotions, and there's been a growing awareness of how polarized we have become as a nation. And the election is passed, but those differences still exist. Those feelings still exist. And there are people in this community that are probably satisfied with the results of the election, and there are some that are trying to process it. And I want to honor all of that. I also want us to consider as a community what we can do to be present to one another in the midst of whatever is alive, and to take one another's hands and walk through the emotions that are present. To hold one another with gentleness, with love, and to look collectively at how we can infuse our experience here with one another and our life moving forth from these doors with peace and with love. Because that's what we're about, right? That's what spiritual community is all about. And as I spoke with so many people this week that were trying to process emotions, I turned to Thich Nhat Hanh, one of my spiritual teachers, and a little book called Peace is Every Step. Peace is every step. I'd like to say that that's what I walk all the time. Not so much, but each step that I take in that manner, I believe, makes a difference. In this book, at the beginning, Thich Nhat Hanh says, peace is present right here and now, in ourselves and in everything we do and see. The question is whether or not we are in touch with it. Peace is present right here, everywhere, all about us. But are we aware of it? Can we intentionally tap into it? Can we be it in the midst of whatever shows up in our world? He goes on and he says, we have difficulty remembering that we are alive in the present moment, the only moment that there is to be alive. Every breath we take, every step we make can be filled with peace, joy, and serenity. We need only to be awake and alive in the present moment. Joy is here, love is here, peace is here in each and every moment. How could it not be so? Because each and every moment is filled with the power and the presence and the activity of God. Right? And our job as spiritual beings is to live into that, to give expression to it, especially when it's a little trying to do so, right? I want to help us along this journey because one of the things that I sometimes notice in Unity, we have such a positive approach to life, and that's really important. But that positive approach sometimes can cause us to attempt to discount or deny or stuff our emotions. And our emotions are a part of our human experience, and they tell us a great deal about what's important to us. And it's been my experience that everything I stuff comes up sideways at another time. So I try not to do that. And the process I'm going to share with you, it can be abbreviated to ARC, A-R-C. First of all is allow and accept. Just allow yourself to be present to your emotions, to notice what's going on, to allow them into your being and to accept them. This is what I'm feeling right now. These are the thoughts that are going through my head right now. Not trying to change it, but to really be present in that experience. So accept and allow. And next, we have release. Beautiful expression of release just a few moments ago, right? And what we're doing is we're releasing those feelings, those tender emotions into God's care. Yeah. Spirit, take this for me. And the second part of the R is to rest in self-compassion. Rest in self-compassion. It's so easy to make judgments about ourselves based on what arises in our minds and our hearts, and to make ourselves wrong for something we're experiencing that is difficult. But what we want to do is immerse ourselves in self-love, self-compassion, to honor what is there as sacred. And when we can do that, it begins to open a space in us to release some of the anxiety, some of the difficulty, some of the tenderness. And we can be more present right here in the present moment, the only moment available to us. And finally, the C. Consider. Consider what authentic action Spirit is guiding you to take. You've taken the time to release whatever into God's care. Now allow God to walk with you, to be expressed through you in a way that brings greater healing, greater wholeness, greater communion, greater love. Yes? Allow, release, and consider. And I really think that as a spiritual community, our role is to walk with one another at these times, to be present with one another, that being in spiritual community means that we're choosing to honor what is alive in each person, whether we agree with them or not, whether what they're experiencing makes sense to us or not, but to truly be present to one another. Because none of us can make this journey by ourselves, right? I certainly don't want to. Scott Peck says that community is a group of individuals who have learned how to communicate honestly with each other, whose relationships go deeper than their masks of composure, and who have developed some significant commitment to rejoice together, mourn together, to delight in each other, and make others' conditions our own. As a community, we are here to rejoice with one another in all the ways that life blesses us, to mourn together when life hurts, and sometimes it does, to delight in each other, to take the time to look into the face of someone next to you and to delight that they are here, to experience the wonder of their presence, and to hold one another and make one another's conditions our own, not in a sense of taking their pain away, but in letting them know that they are not alone. And so I think that at this time, with so much alive in our world, and what I have heard this week in many people's hearts in this community, I think it's important for us to take some time to do that intentionally with one another. So I'm inviting you, if you're so inclined, to, take a little break after the service and come back, and we're going to have a circle of trust. This is an opportunity not to debate ideas, not to give one another advice, but to really listen deeply and honor the sacredness of what each person is experiencing. It has been my experience that when we do that, we open a window for deeper understanding, for deeper love, for deeper caring, and for more peace in our world. I'm going to conclude this morning by affirming the inclusivity prayer that we embraced a few weeks ago. It speaks to our intention as a spiritual community to honor each and every person. Unity Church of the Hills is an open-minded and open-hearted spiritual community that embraces all as expressions of the divine, that embraces all, that each and every one of you is a sacred gift, and you are an expression of God. We intentionally create a safe space that honors the diversity and uniqueness of every person. We lovingly welcome people of all backgrounds, beliefs, and political views, while valuing the inherent worth and dignity of everyone. Acknowledging the uneasiness and polarization in our current culture, we unite in one, in prayer. Loving Spirit, we know and affirm the beauty of each human soul and acknowledge that we are interconnected with each other. We are one. We cultivate the space in our hearts and in our spiritual community that nurtures the sacredness of all and embrace them with compassion and understanding. We honor the differences among us while grounding ourselves in a faith that unites us. We extend love, grace, kindness, and generosity to one another. And so it is, and so it shall be. This is who we are. This is who each of you are. And as we move forward in this day and this week and this year in our lives, my invitation to each of you is to infuse everything you do with peace. Because peace, when we're really present, is in every step. Namaste. So I invite you to close your eyes or to lower your gaze and allow yourself to enter that sacred space of communion. To be fully here, fully present in this now moment. Welcoming everything that is alive in you at this moment. Just acknowledging it, letting it be, not making any thought or any emotion wrong. Just knowing it is part of your life experience. And as you honor it and embrace it, allow the breath of God to take all of it gently, releasing it into a place of love, a place of wholeness, a place of peace and well-being. And just allow yourselves to rest in that awareness in the silence. I breathe in the breath of God, and I breathe it out, releasing the love, the peace, the wholeness, the joy, the presence of God into my world. And I am so deeply grateful for this moment and for this sacred gift of life itself. And my choice in this moment is to infuse everything I see, everything I say, everything I do, everything I think, with the presence and power and activity of Spirit, for that is who I am. And I gift myself and my world with peace, with love, with faith, and I go forward, open and receptive to what Spirit would have me do in each moment. And so it is. Amen.
Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I circulate, and I am grateful.